Hello and welcome to another video. Today I'm taking off something on my personal bucket list. I've never flown the vintage Airbus A310 before in my life, and today I'm getting a chance just before this aircraft is scrapped with Air Transat. I'm flying Air Transat today between Charles de Gaulle in Paris and Quebec City in Canada, and I'm in club class, so it should be a really interesting trip. Come with me, enjoy the video, and let's find out what it's like flying the A310. I'd arrived in France by Eurostar and stayed overnight at the Charles de Gaulle Hilton Hotel, which I chose for its proximity to Terminal 3, where I'd be flying from. It's a terminal dedicated to budget carriers, and so it doesn't have any air bridges at all. All boarding procedures here are carried out by bus and by walking to the aircraft, and the aircraft park on the apron instead of next to the terminal. This hotel also has a great view of the static Air France Concorde on display. At night, the engine nacelles light up orange, just like the afterburners on the real thing did. The terminal is just a few minutes walk from the hotel, across a road, through a tunnel, and you're inside. It was really busy and a little bit difficult to see where I was supposed to be. I was flying club class, which is Air Transat's sort of premium economy product, and there's a separate queue for bag drop. I'd already picked my seat and checked in online. Terminal 3 doesn't have many restaurant or food options. The best place is probably the Paul Patisserie, but it is before security, so you won't be able to take any of your drinks through. Airside there's a Pret, although I'm not sure I would ever pay €4.50 for an orange juice. The non-Schengen part of the terminal is sealed off, but otherwise it's very similar to the Schengen half. There are a few computer games stands for kids, old and young, and there's somewhere to charge your phone too. Just settled in airside here at Terminal 3, and as we can see from flight radar, the inbound flight is still over the Channel Islands somewhere, so it's still about half an hour away from landing. So this inbound flight is supposed to land here at Charles de Gaulle at 9:45 AM, and the outbound flight that I'm taking today is supposed to leave at 11:15. Now my boarding pass actually says that the boarding time for my flight is 9:45. So I'm not really sure why they plan on boarding an aircraft an hour and a half early when it's only going to be parked outside. It's quite common for airlines to put very conservative boarding times on boarding passes, especially in big airports where passengers can get lost or perhaps think they have far too much time. But this is basically one room. There's not an awful lot to do here, so I'm not quite sure why they've done that. Our aircraft, one of the last 3 Airbus A310s in Air Transat's fleet, landed about an hour late. The A310 is a very rare aircraft to see in 2020, so let's have a quick potted history. It first flew in 1982, meeting demand for a shorter, lower capacity version of the very popular Airbus A300. Launched with Swissair and Lufthansa as the first customers, the A310 flew with dozens of airlines, including the legendary Pan Am, and with Qatar Airways too, before flying on Qatar was cool. Only 255 were ever built though, and these days you can only find a handful of examples in Yemen, Iran and Afghanistan, as well as a military version. So with the retirement of these Air Transat A310s, it's fair to say your chances of ever flying one are very remote. So it's really exciting for me to get a chance to fly this old bird just 1 month before she was retired. Oh, by the way, this is the same aircraft that Noel Phillips flew in his video a few months back. This aircraft lost its rudder over the Atlantic about 15 years ago, but not to worry, they gave it a new one. Bonjour. Club class on the Air Transat A310 comprises just 12 seats in a 222 configuration. It's basically a premium economy product. In economy, there's a 333 layout, which is very tight, and there's no seat back entertainment here. These seats are recliners, pretty similar to the domestic first class seats you'll see across North America. Boarding was quick, we got a little glass of bubbly, and soon we're off to Quebec, having recovered a little bit of the delay.
Lisez la carte des mesures de sécurité de l'appareil, se trouvant dans la pochette du fauteuil devant vous.
Read the safety card located in the seat pocket in front of you.
Climbing out was straight and direct, and we were soon cruising the 3,295 miles to Quebec City. Flying time today, about 7 hours. Let's take a quick seat tour. These club seats had a fully adjustable headrest, including ears that can be moulded to support your head, and there were some rather old-fashioned metallic air vents. Legroom was okay, on a par with other premium economy products, although the storage could have been better. In club class, there's seat back entertainment, unlike in economy. The screen can be controlled by these tiny remote controls buried in the center console. There's also a recline function to the seat, although it only went back by a handful of inches. Power was available through USB ports in the back of the console and through the entertainment screen itself. The table was pretty straightforward to use too. Air Transat's meal service began with a very thin hot towel. While the service on board was excellent, the food left a lot to be desired. I was able to pre-order the Quebec grain-fed Hunter-style chicken, but I'm sorry to say that none of the food tasted that good, and there was a slightly synthetic taste to everything I ate on this flight. Not even the chocolate pudding could redeem things. I always take the opportunity to sleep on a long flight, and so I used the blanket, sorry for the rubbish video here by the way, and the eye shades to get a couple of hours nap. There was internet on this old bird, but only allowing access to the entertainment. Remember, no seatback TVs for economy class. The bistro menu was also there too. Again, that's something for economy class too. The screens in club class were pretty good, responsive and of a decent resolution. I was quite surprised at the good selection of entertainment too. Plenty of episodes for each series, although I watched Rain Man. Oh, by the way, the scene where Raymond talks about plane crashes in this film was cut from the Airline version. As well as a moving map, there was a very good selection of music. With music this good, you'll want to remember your own headphones and forget the airline supplied ones. Air Transat also supplies a small amenity kit in club class, including DVT socks and toothpaste. It's a shame no more passenger A310s are flying in the developed world. This wide-body aircraft feels spacious, and the small club class cabin made for attentive and personal service. The older style fittings throughout this aircraft, like a real metal wash basin, are increasingly rare to see on an aircraft now. I'm glad I made such a diversion to witness this old plane in the flesh. The second meal was forgettable, even the cookie, but below us lay a wintry Quebec, my first time in French Canada. I toasted our arrival with a Bailey's coffee. This flight cost me €570 one way, about £510 or $650 US. I enjoyed myself. This was a unique experience, although the food was a consistent disappointment. Air Transat have an extensive fleet of A330s, and brand new Airbus A321 LRs will operate this route going forward. I'd be more inclined to save my money the next time and go economy, which was less than half the price of club on this flight at €250. Thank you so much for joining me on yet another flight review. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell, and let me know if you've flown the A310 in the past too in the comments below. Cheers, and I'll see you next time.